Hey, everybody, and welcome to A Conversation Live. Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Robert C. Stern with The Social Leader, and every week I try to bring a guest or two in that can help you with your business. So today I'm with the legendary not Tom Petty, but Tim Gillette from Rock and Roll Keys to Success in Business. So Tim, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it was a long trip to get here, Robert.
It was a long what?
It was a long trip to get here. I had to come all the way from the bedroom up there to the computer. I'm telling you,
I'm telling you, I try to, make these long distance things, but the good thing is that, at least the bathroom's right around the corner from you.
Yeah, I know where the bathroom is. It's really close. And I got a kitchen close by. Even better.
There you go. So for everybody watching, Tim Gillette, I met Tim about a year ago. No, yeah, just under a year.
Yeah.
And we met on live streaming through Blab and Periscope. And we became really good friends in about a matter of 3 minutes. In fact, I think after our fourth date on Blab, shall we call it, we were planning a vacation together already.
I think everybody labeled us as the bromance. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah.
The bromance. There we go. So Tim, I brought it up saying that it's the rock and roll keys to success and business and all these areas. Let everybody get a little history about you, because you've been doing this for a while, but you've got an interesting story prior to it.
Yeah. I was in the car wash, the automotive industry, most of my life. In high school, I wanted to have a hot rod car. I was into, body and paint work, to the point that every field that I went into in automotive, I had to force my hand into because somebody wouldn't teach me, because I was this crappy ass kid who was just rebellious in it. But I spent from 1984, 85-ish till 2004 in the car wash and auto body industry. I either owned a car wash, I owned a body shop, car wash and body shop, mobile car wash, owned car dealerships, did car sales, worked for body shops, worked in the paint industry, all kinds of things automotive. And my last business in automotive was in 2002 to 2004 here in the Dallas, Texas area, where I live now. I had a mobile car wash business, and basically I would go from one office tower to another, and we had trucks doing it, and we would wash people's cars while they were at work. And it was a very lucrative business money-wise, but it was something that I'd been in my whole life that, I thought I wanted to get into, but now I actually was probably the most successful I'd ever been into it, and I found my life to be very miserable doing it. 2004, the turning point was in 2004. And I don't know how many of you have ever followed the lines of people who tell you what your status symbols are. They all say about, we'll be happy when we're living on the beach together. We'll be happy when we get the Mercedes, the Lamborghini, all of that stuff. And I had gotten to that point where basically I went out and bought a Porsche, thinking I was supposed to stand out and away from the crowd with having this Porsche. And I drive up to the Starbucks, one of the ones I go to on a regular basis. I very rarely drove it because I had trucks that I would take, and I wanted to be seen in my trucks, not my car. I pull up to Starbucks in my Porsche, and a customer who had a couple Lexuses that I used to wash on a monthly basis. And he pulls up next to me, and he goes, "Whose car do you got?" And I said, "It's mine. What do you think? It's my new car." And he said to me, and I said, "All right, if I use the F word on your show, buddy?" He says, "I'm paying you too much effing money to wash my car. That's what I think." And it hit me with, so often, so many of us are happy to see people be successful, but we're afraid that, oh man, they're getting too successful. And I was like, okay, I'm buying cars and toys and things to impress people who don't give a damn about me anyway. Why am I doing this? So that was a turning point for me to go, okay, I really didn't like the car. I hated it. It wasn't comfortable to drive in. I'm a tall person. Really didn't impress me. So within a matter of months, I got rid of the car, got rid of the business. I sold my business off to somebody. basically got out of it for the price of getting away from all my debts. And I walked away with a decent chunk of change. But I wrote a do not compete clause in the sale of the business, so I couldn't get back in for 10 years. Now, 2014, I could finally get back in, but I'm glad I'm off in a new realm. 2004, when I sold it, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no clue. I mean, I'd been in the car industry since 1984, basically. It's a long time. And I was now out of it. I was out of the industry. I had to go find something new. And I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I sat down with Zig Ziglar. He was a personal friend of mine. I washed his car, and I knew him and Gene. And I basically said, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I said, I've been in the auto industry my whole life. Now I've got to go find something else. And Zig put the idea in my head. He said, you should be a speaker. You should be like a coach and trainer. And I had never thought of it. Didn't think I had any authority to be on a stage speaking, let alone, never think. I thought like any other industry, you had to be well-trained. You had to go through all these, you had to be college educated to do it. I never thought that like this would be a realm for me. And I so much didn't believe in it that I spent 5 years working as a barista at Starbucks, practicing my speeches, shall you say, goofing off, trying to figure out what to do. And it wasn't until seeing Zig again in 2009 that it opened my eyes to, maybe God gave me a gift and I should be using it. You know what I mean? And my story, why I went with rock and roll was I looked professional. I kind of looked like Robert. I really did. I had the short hair.
Yeah, that crew cut look. And
I actually wore the same shirts back then. I had the golf shirts and shorts. I mean, I looked like, I had my logo on the shirts. I looked professional towards that field. You know what I mean? I looked like a professional car wash person. That's what Zig knew me as. And then I see him in 2009 and I look like this. And I said, well, Zig, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to get a haircut and buy a suit. And Zig said, oh, no. He says, Tim, that's not you. This is you. I've never seen you be you like you are right now. And that was the first eye-opening in my life to actually go out and be authentically me. Because I can tell you since 1980s, I graduated high school in 1984. I want to say probably by 85 or 86, I had long hair. I grew up in a family that was a Protestant family in the Northeast who, you went to church and it was, above the ears, off the neck, and you didn't listen to rock and roll, and you wore a suit and tie to church, and that wasn't me. I wasn't that guy, and it didn't fit me. And it wasn't until it hit me with Zig saying, you need to be your authentic self, that I had to figure out who that authentic self was. And I went back to looking at every time they told me to go get a haircut and look professional and buy a suit, I turned into a board. I wasn't professional. I wasn't me. But I could walk into a room looking like this with long hair, and I have no problem walking up to anybody in the room. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things Zig pointed out about me was it didn't matter if it was the janitor or if it was the president of the United States. I'd walk up and greet him the same way. And he says, that was me. And I had that when I was like this. But when I had to suit up to be professional, I clammed up. I couldn't be me.
So what brought you into the blogging world? Because that's where you really kind of found your niche.
Yeah. I didn't know what to start with. You know what I mean? I didn't have a lot of money. I was working at Starbucks. I didn't have a lot of money to figure out how to get in this. I couldn't go. My course that I took for coaching was cheap and inexpensive. It was like $650. But after I got it, it was like, all these ideas to market and find clients. I'm like, okay, I didn't have a coach. I couldn't afford one. So how do I go out and start finding clients? And a buddy of mine, it was actually the guy whose couch I slept on in 2005 when I was homeless. He had written this article on this site called WordPress.com and posted it on his Facebook page. And I clicked over it. I read it. It was a good article. And I noticed something at the bottom that says, if you'd like to start your own WordPress.com page, click here. So I did. And still, it was in March of 2010. I still had no clue what I had created. Still trying to figure it out. And you know, and I started following a couple other people who were bloggers. I don't know if you know Steve's site, Steve Scott. He had Steve Scott's site back then. I was following Steve. Another guy from the West Coast. I can't remember his name because I don't even follow him anymore. But you know, he had a site that I was following on blogging. I follow a few of these people and I talk about blogging, so I'm like, well, let me go try and write an article and see what happens. And I sat down at my computer and I was like, my mind just went blank. I don't know what to write about. I had no clue. So April 1st, it was April 1st, 2010, which would be about 20 days after I started. I opened up the site. I go down to my garage and I'm like, I'm just going to spend 30 minutes. And I set the 30-minute timer to clean my garage for 30 minutes to think. And that's where the ideas started to get born on me on how to be creative online and how to create content. Was life comes from experience, and I cleaned my garage in less than 30 minutes. I did the whole garage. So I came up with the idea, write a blog post on how to change your world 30 minutes at a time. And that was my first blog post. And I tell people it was posted April 1st, 2010, no joke. So for the people who get the fact that that's April Fool's Day, they think, that really, no joke. That was the first post. So, but I mean, it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like this eye-opening thing. It was like, I don't know where to start. And I started there, and by 2014, it was my most requested speaking topic was how do you start a blog and how do you build a personal brand?
And I was going to say, what was the first one? It was so your first blog was how to start a blog.
Yeah. Yeah. So and I never planned on having a blog about blogs. And now I have a blog about blogs. I blog about entrepreneurs. I have several of them now. So and I actually I actually got a blog post I'm creating to come out tomorrow on this Instagram versus Snapchat thing. Because Instagram is something I've been using for years for my blog, and now they come out with a whole new feature. So now that's what I write about. Whereas so many people in my realms, they get caught up into trying to be another Robert. They try to be another social media expert. I'm not. I don't do social media. I use what social media creates content and gets people back to my site. That's the only thing I do. So and
that's why I wanted you more on, because you know you're about content creation and starting the blog and having ideas and things like that. And last week I had Robin Wright on, friend of both of ours. And
I know Rob. Great lady.
And we were talking about how people still misunderstand that blogs are huge ways to get traffic to things, whether it's your site, a service, a product, or something else. Blogs are still huge ways to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and it's funny because I talk about blogs on stages. At the end of June, I was speaking at a speakers conference in Palm Springs, California. I don't know if you know Tracy Rubchuk. I don't know if you know her or not. Yeah. She's a pretty big person in the getting websites set up right. Big person and doing that. And she was in the audience. And I'm like, I don't do SEO. I was wondering how she was going to take my speech. And I get up there, and one of the things I do in my speech is that when I mention SEO, I talk about it means some extraterrestrials outside. It doesn't mean what people think it is. And when people say, I can get you to #1 on Google, I laugh because I know people in SEO, and they'll tell you that's just not possible. All right? It's a game. And I tell people I've never used SEO in my blogs, and I've been doing them 6, almost 7 years now. Still don't use any SEO, no optimizing. I don't pay an SEO guy. And I mentioned in there, and the biggest thing that I do is I talk about the news. I actually use if I wrote a blog post last week, it would have been about Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders because they were in the news all week long. So I use what's going in the news to attract people to my website. And then I use it to teach from it. And when I said that, Tracy Rubchuk looked at me and she went, that's freaking brilliant.
See, you taught her something.
Yeah, every SEO person, when they hear me tell that, they're like, that's brilliant. Because
people are Googling they're Googling those terms and your stuff is coming up.
Yeah, especially if you're writing on a regular basis. You're not doing something static. SEO is for static. In other words, you're not updating it on a regular basis. So you want to fit certain terms. A blog is something that is not static. It is being recreated daily, weekly, monthly, however you do it. That's putting new content on your website on a regular basis. That's why I've always stuck with it and said blogging works. Now I'm using video into it. I've done some audio and some PowerPoints. I mean, there's a couple different things I've added to it, but I don't go out. I mean, I know, Robert, you're starting to teach and work with people on live video in your clientele. Great. I don't just teach live video for live video. No, if I couldn't teach it to apply to using on a blog or apply to putting content on your own site, is how I clarify that. I don't use it. I'm not about trying to get more people on Facebook Live. No, I want people to find me on Facebook Live and come to my blog.
Using the call to actions to move them into different places.
Yeah. So,
and it's funny because yesterday, and we're going to talk a little bit about it in a few minutes, I did a Facebook Live about content. And I wasn't talking about just blogs, just content in general, because, anything we post online is content, whether it's a graphic, a meme, a video, a status update, or a blog or an article. Anything we do, it's content. And the title of it was like, what and where do you get your content when you're stuck? And it was the easiest and simplest thing I think I spoke about, was because I said, put down your phone, your laptop, walk outside and look around.
Yeah. And
anything you see can be used as content. And then I said, and then you're watching a movie one night. And it could be any movie you want. And they say something that triggers in your head, like, oh, I like that line. That can be content that could lead into something, or a book you're reading, or content really does. And you've proven it because, obviously you use a lot of music coming into it, talking about business. Hello, rock and roll and business together. But guess what? Some of the words and things they talk about can be used in business.
Yeah. Well, I've been using, my blog was done for years. I would use rock and roll songs, which now my books are all rock and roll titles. My first book was called You Can Always Get What You Want, and it was a spoof off the Rolling Stones song. And then my second book is actually, it is the name of the song from Bachman Turner Overdrive. It's called Taking Care of Business. And now the third one that I'm working on, I had one outlined that we're still going to do, is called Not Gonna Take It Anymore, and been perfect to put it out during this presidential campaign, but I just don't have it ready yet. But now the blog is rock around your blog, you know what I mean? Because I'm about creating content using a blog as the center, the focus. So, it's, so I've been using subtitles.
I want to backtrack just a little before we get more into the content area. I definitely think we need to talk about that, because people get stuck. And I think the only reason they get stuck is because they get stuck by themselves. There's so much out there to do. But starting a blog. So somebody comes along and goes, I want to start a blog. What in their head should they be doing? I mean, writing out, doing what? WordPress, all these other sites. I mean, what are things, strategies, little tips that you could give?
I'm huge on going to WordPress.com, starting out for free. It's something you could do without even owning a computer. You can borrow your friend's computer or go to the library on WordPress.com and get started. You know what I mean? The idea is out there that, there's a lot of people I know who start podcasts first. They start all this stuff. Now they're trying to start all that. Well, if you have no money, you could go, if you're homeless, you could go to the library on WordPress.com, create an account, and start blogging. Doing that with a podcast or a radio show or a TV show, you might not be able to do that for free without a computer. You need some tools to do it. So I've always been an advocate, and even I find a lot of WordPress instructors, they're saying, start on WordPress.com, because when you're ready to take that thing to another level, you now can take that content from WordPress.com in 3 clicks and add it to a new WordPress self-hosted site in 3 clicks. And it's so simple to do that, and you already have the content. And there are a lot of people in the blogging world and the content creation world that they disagree with you, because they're trying to sell you a product up front. And I get it. I need to sell stuff to make money. I really do. But if all I am about is getting $997 from you and not giving you a success plan to make you successful, all right, because it costs more money to do it, all right, then I'm not helping you. And I'm a firm believer in that. If you could go do what you can do for free and build to it. I started my car wash business that I sold for 6 figures, all right, and I was making 6 figures. I started that with $30 in my pocket. I went to the store and bought a bucket, like a washing mitt, 2 towels, all right, and a can of wax. And that's it, man. That's how I started it. You know, you got to start where you're at. And so many people are trying to do this. You know what I mean? If we couldn't start, the average person can't start a video business like you and I have now. From nothing. It costs money to do this. So go where you.
It does, but it also doesn't, because look what we're doing right now.
Yeah, we're on a free platform. But if we didn't own computers with
correct
microphones and cameras, that's where it gets into. Well, the idea is a lot of the people teaching blogging out there is go out and get self-hosted. Yes, it's better. I'm going to admit to you, yes, it's better. But creating that page, not having an optimized setup right, not having the graphics look right, not having a lot of things, you know what I mean, the self-hosting puzzle, not being able to put the right things into it, you can be out. I mean, my site that I have up now is over $5,000 invested into it. If you don't have $5,000 to put in up front, start where you can and not try to go get the $5,000 to get started. You know, by the time you have the $5,000, you have the content written. It can switch over and keep going. So I'm big on this. Go to WordPress.com and get started. You know, outside of the actual realms of like we're doing on the Google Hangouts and the blabs and the podcasts and all that stuff, and you know, that's outside of that. This is getting your own site and your own content on your own real estate. So you got to rent for a while. Rent until you can afford it.
Then okay, so somebody comes along, I want to start a blog. I'm a realtor, I'm this, I'm that. Maybe I should be doing a blog to get information out.
Mm-hmm.
They open up a WordPress.com and blah, blah. Then they get into that stuck mode. Because we've all done it when we started. It's like, oh my God, what do I write about? What do you do?
I do this wonderful thing. I actually have these. I pull them out for everybody to see. I do this 30-day blogging challenge. I actually wrote 30 topics. That by the end of these 30 topics, the last topic is, what have you learned about yourself with this challenge? It starts from introducing yourself, the city you were born in, the top 10 things that are facts about me. I mean, funny things about your child. I mean, I go through that, and then I transition from personal to business to job to business to, you know what I mean, to vision, to hobbies, and it goes through that. Well, I did the same thing for live streaming. What do I do my first live stream about? I got 21 of them, and I created them because it's like once you start creating ideas, they start adding up. Now you look for ideas everywhere. I could go for a motorcycle ride and get ideas, but in the beginning, I couldn't, man. I couldn't figure out where to get them. It takes doing something to get them. You know what I mean? The biggest thing we do in my one-day workshop with writing your first blog post is we usually pick a childhood book and give your opinion on it. I mean, we've done Green Eggs and Ham. We've done The Cat in the Hat.
Were you on that Periscope when I did that?
I think I was.
I did a Friday night, 11:30 at night. I did and for those of you guys that don't know Periscope, it's another
video
live streaming app that actually kind of really boosted live streaming into the public. But I actually went on at 11:30 on a Friday night, and I read a bedtime story to Periscope, and I did Green Eggs and Ham. I read the whole book and showed the pictures and everything. That was my live stream. How funny is that?
I know a guy. I don't want to get. We're gonna get too sidetracked, but I actually spoke at an event in Atlanta, Georgia, probably 3 or 4 years ago, where the pastor. It was held in a church. The pastor of the church was one of the speakers, and the pastor, as well as I think Doug Grady was the other speaker who was there. They both used Green Eggs and Ham in their speech, and I was like, somebody brought up. I never thought I'd come to a function where Green Eggs and Ham would be the subject.
Mm-hmm. Just so you know, we got a comment in our thing. David Vaughn is out there in the audience.
I love beauty.
And he even wrote, you can even start a blog on Blogger. In fact, that would help with gaining awareness. You could even use your Google Plus, if you have a Google Plus account, as your blog. Again, it can help with awareness.
Yeah.
And just it just many ways.
Yeah. There's all kinds of ways. There's tons of sites that are kind of like WordPress that a lot of people are using. Medium is out there. Medium is a great platform right now. One of the reasons, and I love them. They're great. They're cool. Kind of like Facebook's cool. You know what I mean? Google Plus is cool. One of the reasons I'm big about starting it on your own page is every time I meet somebody, my objective is to get you off of here and go visit my webpage. I want you on my page. I want to capture your information. I want to start building a relationship with you. I can do so much on social media. I'm on rented space. You know what I mean? And I think you have been, I think you're one of the people I've actually seen in the past year who said this, and I really admire this, was, yeah, social media is great, but until you take it offline, it's not a business. You got to get off the, you know what I mean? On the site's one thing. It's cool to connect on here. But until we're offline, we're never going to do business together.
I did a whole blog about a year ago, and I'm going to tweet it out again, I think, about it was called hashtag pick up the phone.
Yeah.
It's great to have all these connections. And you text somebody and you message somebody on Facebook and you message somebody on Instagram and you do all that great stuff. Pick up the phone. Make it more personal. I mean, Tim and you and I have had discussions on the phone. We've FaceTime, we've done all this stuff. I'm up in Jersey, you're down in Dallas. And guess what? It creates a better relationship.
Yeah. You know, we've connected, we met in person, you know what I mean? And that's part of the deal. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to get off the line and connect with people. And you know, truthfully, I was there for you in one of your troubling times. I mean, you had a couple troubling times this past year, and you knew you could pick up the phone and talk to me. I mean, that's where sometimes it's not business.
And when you got sick, I was like, "What do you need me to do?" You know, it was the same thing.
It was. So, you know what I mean? It was. It's the two of us have been around to help each other as friends, and we've only known each other a year. So, had we not taken it offline, we'd still be, hashtag cool dude, you know. But no, it's personal with us now. David Vaughn's another one who mentioned it there. David Vaughn and I text all the time. If I need an idea, I know I can bounce something off of David, and he'll bounce back, you know. If I needed to pick up the phone and call him, I'm pretty sure if he was busy, he'd say, Tim, I'll call you back in a couple minutes. Connected with him. And I've not met David in person, but we've done stuff together.
I still can't believe they have electricity in that little old town in North Carolina in the woods by him.
I can't believe We're not going to go politics in North Carolina.
Because I know he's still in the room.
You know, taking it personal, and I don't want to take up and go this far with it, but I actually want to bring this up because this morning I actually did a Facebook video and a comment. There's somebody who wants to speak on my stage here in Dallas. And they reached out to me about a week ago. Well, they reached out to me. I mean, I basically told them this is what you need to do and get back to me in a week or so. So they reached out to me again last night and said, well, I think we need to take this to one of my virtual coffee things. Here's a link to my calendar. And I'm like, you want to speak on my stage? Rule I have on speaking on my stage, you're going to meet me in person. You're going to sit across the coffee table with me. And I hate this. I hate this virtual calendar thing. Here's a link. Put yourself on my calendar. I realize it's needed in certain areas, but I'm like, first contact with somebody, you better be picking this thing up and go, hey, man, can we connect? First contact. Here's the link to my calendar if you want to talk is not a good way to start off a relationship.
Well, like last week, I had Ryan Steinolfson on here. Conversation with, and we spoke through Messenger. We spoke on the phone a little bit. And Ryan and I had known each other a while, and I said, you know, hey, I want to do one of these about reputation management because it's important these days.
Yeah.
And he goes, I go, what's a good time? He goes, let me send you the calendar and pick the time you want. But the thing was, I was on the phone with him.
Yeah.
So I don't mind picking the time from the calendar because I've already built the relationship with him. I was on the phone with him to tell him what I wanted. And now it's okay, we need to set a time and date to talk, to actually do this. That's a different aspect. So the calendar is useful because now I have his schedule.
I have
so
a
I can
relationship
work around it.
Yeah, I have a relationship now. Some of my coaches, I actually have one coach that I've got unlimited. I can call him for 5-minute calls all the time. I still always, hey, what's the schedule? And I try to get myself on a schedule, not necessarily call for a 5-minute time. But I mean I respect you. If your business system is a certain way, and I want to do business with you, I'm going to do it your way. If you want to do business with me, you're going to have to do it my way.
Yeah.
All right. And it's just people who, and I had the same thing. Someone wanted to be on my radio show. They did the same thing. I've had one person who wanted to be on my radio show, and they've asked me 4 times. And every time we get into this game playing with their assistant, and I'm like, not happening. I know you personally, not happening. If you can't take it to the level I want it to do, you're not going to be on a radio show.
Yeah.
And that's it. If I'm going to do business with Robert, hey, Tim, can we do this? And I said, sure. You know what I mean? I'm meeting this on Robert's terms. Robert's show, not Tim's show.
Correct. You even said it. You're not a big fan of Google Plus and everything, but I'm doing it on the Google Hangouts. So you came on.
Yeah.
Until we can
and
find.
He had to explain to me how to use it, by the way.
What?
Had to explain to me how to use it. We're like, how do I? He's like, you want to do a lower third? I'm like, I don't know how to do that stuff.
All right, people we have the newcomers. They start on Word.com. By the way, those sheets that you showed, they can get that on your site.
Actually, if you go to nottompetty.com, the site that's listed there, and if you sign up for my newsletter, on the thank you page, actually gives you links, gives you PDFs of those.
Great. So we talked about beginners. We talked about ideas, could be moderate or beginning and everything. I want to jump the gun because there are people out there that could be watching this, and they're already bloggers. Now, maybe they're moderate bloggers or they're experienced bloggers, and they really want to take it to another level. What's the difference now? Because you see where I'm going a little bit, because I could put a blog out every week. You could have 1,000 subscribers. You could have tons of people reading it that don't subscribe. You blast it out on Facebook and LinkedIn, and you know my whole process that I did a video for you for about how to get the most out of it with all the different platforms and everything. But now you want to take it to the next level. I mean, like a Seth Godin.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who probably writes a blog, and the first day it's 25, 40,000 people reading it.
He writes a blog every day, 7 days a week. He's one of the most people I'm impressed with. He's just he's been doing it for years.
Somebody build it like that.
Well, I mean, it's about building relationships with your audience, all right? And as they come in, as new people come in, you're going to have to connect with your audience on ways that matter to them, not you. I've done things with mine, like, if you go through my courses, you get to be a guest blogger on my blog. And I said, that to me, that is one of my selling points, and it's unique, is I make sure it fits within the subject of that blog, and I let other people post on there. And I'm like, if you're a new blogger, how would you like to have your blog post put out to 30,000 people? Because I have over 30,000 subscribers. So more than that now. I stopped looking at the numbers when I hit 30,000. But other ways to go and take this to another level. We used to do, we're big on, I used to divide mine up. I used to do a weekly theme, 5 different subjects out of the theme in a week. Or you can do a daily, something that's daily. And I say in my calendar portion of my workshop, I talk about, on Monday you do one thing, on Tuesday you do another, Wednesday, and so on and so on. In my case, it's like Tuesday's my radio show day. Not now, I'm currently taking a break from it, but blogging is Friday. Friday's when my blog post comes out. You know what I mean? Wednesdays and Thursdays are they're different things. Mondays is live day for me. I do live events on Monday. So it's like I have something unique that goes with it. When I talk about taking it to the next level, we talk about taking your blogs and creating a book with it. So many people, they want to create a book, but they're like, oh, I can never write a book. If you actually took your book and wrote the outline down, I don't know if you've seen some of the things I do with my whiteboard, where I line out everything from programs to books and things, and then I write it a section at a time. And each section, each little sticky note I pull off. Actually, here's some of the sticky notes from the last project.
Colorful.
Yeah, I pull the sticky notes down one by one, and I write that section and make it a blog post. Well, then I just put a check mark, put it back on the board. And if you did that, and say you had, if you broke your book into 6 chapters, and each chapter had 5 points, that's 30 sticky notes. That's 30 blog posts that you do. When you're done, you put all the blog posts together, and you put it together, put it on this book. And I'm big now. It's 2015, 16. It's gotten big, and you need to have a print book to get on stages to speak now. Event planners, that's the first question they're asking now. Do you have a book? If you don't have a book, you're not getting on that stage. They're just, and so find the simplest way to do it. You know what I mean? And that's one way I've done it.
You brought up something. I just sorry to cut you off, but it's interesting because people that have blogs for a while now, and then they go, "Yeah, I should write a book." They don't realize their material for the book is all your past blogs that you could turn into a book.
Yeah, you can actually do, and I've done it. I think I put it out in ebook format. I didn't put it in a print version. Was because I do a lot of songs. So I did 1 year. I did my, the top 20 songs from my blog posts from 2012, I think it was. So if I had, that's 20 blog posts, and I just put it into an ebook. You know what I mean? All it is my blog posts, the top 20 most read that year. You know what I mean? It's be creative. I'm big on video, putting video into it now. And one of the things I teach when I do content creation on video is I got this idea from Casey Everhart. I just enhanced it and grew from it. Was I interview people on video all the time, and I'll go to a conference I'm speaking in Pennsylvania at a blog conference in northeastern Pennsylvania where I'm from, and I'm going to talk on video, and basically I will tell people that go interview people with a video, do it on Periscope, Facebook Live, whatever it is, capture the video on your phone, keep it, upload it to YouTube, all right. And then, number one, you're doing it on Periscope. Live, they're seeing it live. The second format is you're putting it on your YouTube channel, and then put it out on Facebook posts. This is, hey, here's the highlights from a video interview I did with Robert last Tuesday. Tell Robert you're doing it. Robert then's probably going to go, hey, yeah. Robert won't, but him and I are higher up.
Tag them.
Huh?
Tag people in the posts.
Yeah. Well, in the post, I don't tag people who aren't in the post. But here's what the idea is. If I'm interviewing you and you have no audience, and you're now on my Facebook page, and let's say you have an audience of 10 people that you know of, are you not going to tell all 10 people that you were on my Facebook page? Now I take it to another level. Yeah. So now I take it to another level. I take it and I put it on a blog post. And then I post the information about the blog post on Facebook. And I give the link. If you're somebody with a small audience, you're going to then send the whole link out. Why are you doing this? Because you're excited you're on a show. My radio show, I think the week after I did, in 2012 or 13, the week after I interviewed Larry Wingett, my buddy Robert was on there. And Robert advertised to all of his people, I'm going to be on this radio show that Larry Wingett and Bob Berg have been on. He got more people to show up to my radio show live and sign up for my email list than Larry Wingett did, because I used Larry Wingett as the pull, and I grabbed him and said, hey, I'm going to have Robert on. Well, that's what you do, is you do nothing more. It's the Oprah effect. Oprah's been doing it for years. She takes other people's information, other people's audiences, brings them to her show. She makes a show. That's how she built her audience. That's what I think.
What's your feeling about guest blogging on other blogs?
I love guest blogging on other blogs, but I want to make sure, number one, it's relevant to what I talk about. So in other words, I'm not going to talk on a food blog. I'm not a cook. I suck at cooking. All I can do is tell you what I like. Make sure it's relevant. The next thing is if you're going to be on mine, you're going to guest post on mine. The content that you're going to post on mine cannot be on anywhere else on the web. In other words, I want you to write an exclusive post for me. So when you're writing guest posts for someone else, make it exclusive for their audience. Connect to their audience. It's like I'm trying to connect to, I'm on here because I'm connecting to Robert's audience. I'm not on here connecting to my audience. You know what I mean? I'm doing it special for you. It's just like an interview. Mm-hmm. The other thing is have your own blog before you go out asking people to guest blog. And I've met people around here. They're like, oh no, I guest blog as a business. So you, again, have no real estate of your own. You just want to go from other people's. Where are you sending them to? You know what I mean? If I speak on someone else's stage, it's because I want to get them to come to my event. It's business. I hate to say it, it's business. I'm on Robert's thing because I want you to come over and sign up for my email list so you can come to my videos. That's business. You know what I mean? When Robert was on my radio show, he did the same thing. It's business. So, I mean, make it so you have something there. So those are the things I would give you on guest blogging.
All right. So the basic thing now, which everybody asks, and you're going to just smile when I say this now. All right. So I do this blog and everything. So how do I monetize it? I see you laughing.
That is the number one question I get. How do I monetize a blog?
I had to bring it up.
Oh no, it's true because that's it, and it becomes so much into. Again, it's a business. I'm in it to make money, but the first thing I do when I meet Robert is not say, "Hey, Robert, can I get your credit card?" No, I'm building a relationship. A blog. The idea of the blog is to get you to sign up for the email list. The idea of the email list is so you can read some of my newsletters and see some of the information I've shared. After I've shared information back and forth with you, then I might have something that would be an intro offer to you. Not this, how do I monetize it? Now, I'm big on, I make money with affiliate marketing, and I have an awful lot of affiliates that plug into my blogs over the past 7 years. So you click on a link and it states in my blog, if you click on a link and buy something, I do get in some cases, I do get a bonus. I do get a referral fee for doing that. I have to be upfront and honest about it, but it's not millions of dollars. It's not six figures. If you come to me and say, hey, how can I create content and create a blog? I want to make six figures this year. It's August. You're not going to do it this year. Sorry. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Six figures on a blog should not be your biggest thing. Can it be done? Yes, it can be done, but it's a lot of work to do it. I would start being small. Try to get $100 regularly a month. Then go to $1,000 regularly a month. Then go to $3, then go to $5, then go to $10. You know what I mean? You're building up on a regular basis, trying to make a consistent revenue. I use affiliate marketing. I currently have an affiliate program where if you get people to sign up for my blogging program, you get a fee. That's all affiliate marketing is. The biggest one I teach, and not everybody can use it because it's not authorized for every state, is Amazon. Amazon has everything. And I do a lot of pictures, and those pictures are affiliate links. So when I did a blog post about Smokey and the Bandit. If you look at the picture, it's a picture of the DVD Smokey and the Bandit. If you click on it, it takes you over to Amazon. If you go, I really need to buy this Blu-ray disc. So you buy it and make a couple pennies. You know, the idea, and I love Bonnie Frank is the first person who said this in a way that got me to understand it. She says, basically, hey, if you get this, you're buying me a cup of coffee. And every cup of coffee that I don't have to pay for, I love. And I love that idea. You know, think of it this way. Just try to get cups of coffee along the way. Sooner or later, those cups of coffee add up. You know what I mean? The name coach was in my Rocker Life Coach when I had it. But the idea of coaching and mentoring is I think it was James Malinchak said this. He says, in the beginning, I didn't think I could be a coach. So basically, I would say to people, yeah, buy me a cup of coffee, I'll help you out. Then it was, buy me a hamburger, and I'll help you out. Then it was, buy me a hamburger and $100, and I'll help you out. Then it was, just give me $100. And it moves up the realms. That's how you monetize. I mean, you take it a step at a time and try to get it out there. Don't get caught up in this, how can I make six figures this month? And I've actually had people ask me, how can I write an SEO post that will make me six figures in 30 days? And I say, it's a myth. You know what I mean? I don't care what so-and-so gurus trying to sell you in their well-optimized copywriting they do to get you sales copy, to get you to click on their Facebook ad, all right? It's not necessarily true, all right? And I've studied with the best in online marketing, Frank Kern. And Frank Kern, believe it or not, even though he's the best, is very big on being honest and forthright into it because he's had the FTC chase him down.
It's crazy out there right now because there's ads. I see them on Instagram all the time, even just the names of people, how I'm making $11,000 a month on Instagram and how I'm doing. And I'm just like, really? You guys are still pulling this stuff?
And I love watching the joke ones come out because there's people out there making fun of us now who have done it. And one of them, well, I don't know if you ever see JP Sears' videos. He just cracks me up, the videos he does. He makes fun of life coaches and vegans, all kinds of stuff. But one I seen yesterday was this couple I follow. They're out of California, and actually she wrote on her Facebook page how she was was it the certified expert or the real expert is what she clarified on the Instagram stories. She says, and don't be fooled by the other Instagram stories experts.
Wait, there's an Instagram stories expert? It's been out 2 days.
Oh, no, I know. She's joking about it. She's like, ladies and gentlemen, you can't be an expert on something in 2 days. My friend, and I know, Robert, you hate the word expert. My friend, CJ Ortiz here in Dallas, he's famous for saying this, social media expert. Social media has been around for all of what, 10 minutes, and we have experts on the subject. It's ever changing, ladies and gentlemen. I can be an authority onto it. I can know a little bit more than you, but saying I'm an expert on something because I've done it twice is not true. It can't happen.
So give me your top 3 tips. You meet somebody at the coffee shop. Got to throw a coffee shop in there because that's your history. And they're a blogger now, and they just need 3 ideas to help them kind of focus and get better. What would be your top 3 things?
Well, yeah, number one, I'm going to say how regularly are you posting, and have you come up with a regular schedule? You've come up with this idea, create a content calendar. I've got a content calendar idea out as well for blogging and online content. Robert has it out there for social media. Both ideas. You got to have something that you're doing on a regular basis. Start scheduling your ideas out. I'm big on, number one, write your ideas out. All right. So you've got the ideas. Maybe you start building the outlines around to it. So as you build the idea, the outline, then you start watching the news. And I'm big on this. I watch the news. I have ideas down in my thing, and I'm waiting for something to come up that fits that idea in the news. So I used an idea to talk about raving fans. And when the Cleveland Cavaliers won the NBA championship, I was like, wait a minute. Cleveland people have been fans of sports with no results for 50 some odd years. And what a way to use as a subject line of what's going on in the news to then convert to talk about raving fans. These people know what it's like to be a raving fan. And I said, wouldn't you like to have a fan like the Cleveland Cavaliers have had fans all these years without a win? And I use that to teach fans. So then you apply it. The next thing I gotta tell you is, in content creation, is you've got to have an email list. David Vaughn, who's on the call and watching us here, David Vaughn and I are both, we're big in agreement with this. You've got to have a way to get their name and email address. Now, I'm not big on MailChimp. I know it's free, but if it's all you've got to start building that list, use it. Start getting names and emails on a list and get permission to market to them offline. Off the social media sites. You've got to have some sort of list builder. I'm big on that. That is the biggest thing you need to do. And then wow your audience. You've got to come up with ways to wow your audience. All right? There are a million talking heads out there. You've got to be different. You've got to stand out different. You've got to be different. You've got to go so wow in the face that you get them. Everything you do has got to be a wow. And that's everything I do is a wow. If I can't do it in a wow format, I don't want to do it. How's that, buddy?
Sound perfect. So best way for them to go to is nottompetty.com.
NotTomPetty.com will actually take you to a spot where you can sign up for my newsletter. If you sign up for my newsletter, I got in the thank you page, you've got the PDFs of both of these, as well as, I think it's clicking through to an encore presentation of a speech I did last week. So go over there, sign up for my newsletter, and thank you for it. I'll give you these two, and then you'll get a video newsletter once a week from me. And you can check out my site. All my blog posts are linked in there if you click the blog thing and check me all out.
Sounds perfect. Well, I thank you for joining us on A Conversation Live this week.
Yep.
And for everybody, we will be back next week. It is Thursday, so we're doing it a day early to coordinate with Tim's schedule. So next week we've got one planned, but there might be a surprise one coming up. So I got to keep my mouth shut, which is hard to do these days on social media. So I thanks everybody for joining, and until next time, we will talk to you soon. Take care.